Taboo Tuesday was a great pay-per-view back in the early internet days of the WWE. If you don't remember these events, it was pretty much where fans voted on the matches, segments, rules, and etc. that were going to be featured on the show. Nowadays, the average person is spending so much time on social media that this would change the game. On average, people spend a total of 6 hours and 40 minutes a day on screen time. Depending on where you get statistics from, it might be even more. I'm sure people could cut out a few minutes to vote on Taboo Tuesday. This would be super interesting too, as according to the WWE, all the voting on this pay-per-view back in the day was legit. There was an interesting story about this in 2004, which consisted of Chris Jericho not knowing who he was going to face in a match until it actually started. There were also a lot of other things that made this pay-per-view what it was. Some of the greatest matches, in my opinion, took place in these, with all types of stipulations taking place. One of my favorite matches during this time is Triple H versus Ric Flair. Ric Flair had the seemingly second wind of a career during this time, as he had recently become Intercontinental Champion by beating Carlito. They would also later become a tag team, but during this time, they were feuding. Carlito was wilding during this time. He hit Corey Wilson with the backstab. They were also in a relationship at one point. On to Ric Flair and Carlito. These two faced off multiple times, in which one time Ric Flair won the IC Championship from Carlito. The feud kept going, and Carlito, along with Chris Masters, caught Ric lacking backstage and attacked him by spitting apple in his face. Triple H felt the urge to take matters into his own hands and teamed with Flair before attacking him, as he felt Ric had become a shell of his former self. The attack was brutal, a sledgehammer to the face, leaving Ric Flair bloody, which gave him that bloody blonde hair look, and throwing Ric in a limo after yelling at him that Ric was his. From Carlito to Triple H, Flair was really getting disrespected out. He, by this point, was 56 years old, and the question really was, did he still have one more banger? This question was shortly answered, but not before the build-up. The former Evolution teammates were now on different wavelengths. The promo for this brought this story back 3 years, where Ric Flair was lacking in who he was, and Triple H lended a hand and pulled Ric Flair up to Evolution. Ric slowly found who he was again. There were two guys, both members of DX, seemed to not like: Undertaker and Ric Flair, because they both called Ric an old dog. Triple H said he did what anyone who really cared would have done, and that's what Ric out. Ric Flair replied with the bloodiest promo in WWE history. The promo started like this. He ripped the band-aid off, and it continued like this. Triple H also had this promo backstage with the Raw locker room and John Cena in particular. Bloodied and screaming, Ric wanted Triple H, and he got what he wanted with the match at Taboo Tuesday, but not any regular match. It's one of 3 matches. Coach, which one is it? Well, the choice seems pretty obvious. It's a steel cage match. As far as the match goes, it was pretty much the story of the new guy versus the old one. A 20-year age difference and a bloody match really took place here. From weapons to finishing moves, this match told a great story and was downright brutal. Ric Flair obviously had the age factor here, and it was being questioned by commentary, with them analyzing the match as if Flair was in a bit of a pickle, but if anybody could win, it was the Nature Boy. Triple H would control a lot of the match, but Ric Flair had enough left to escape the cage and win. Put my boy Ric in a Nike commercial, because all he does is win. He escaped the cage, but the story was not over. After Taboo Tuesday, they continued to feud, and it eventually led to a last man standing match at Survivor Series in November, which Triple H won. But to keep the focus on Taboo, the matches were amazing. Stone Cold was also scheduled with Jonathan Coachman. The match was canceled though. He was supposed to compete in a handicap match, but Batista replaced him. Wild to think Stone Cold was going to come out of retirement in 2005. Shawn Michaels also went up against Triple H in a match for the world title in 2004. Triple H defeated Shawn Michaels in this match, and I still feel like it's a little insane that Shawn Michaels didn't win the WWE title in his run from 2005 to 2009. So far, as you can tell, Taboo Tuesday was cooked. In the same pay-per-view, Taboo Tuesday 2004, Ric Flair had another steel cage match against Randy Orton. The build-up to this saw Randy Orton hop out of a cake and attack Evolution. The build continued with Ric Flair telling Randy that he won the world championship, so he's great, but he wouldn't be a legend killer until he beat Ric Flair. Randy had a match for the chance to face Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship against Batista, but Ric got involved. This cost Randy the shot, and the match was on for Taboo Tuesday. This was Taboo Tuesday, so the fans got a vote, and they used it to make it a steel cage. The match, to say the least, was really bloody. Legend versus a legend killer. The match used a steel cage a lot. Flair wanted to escape multiple times. Randy Orton used the cage as a weapon, and so did Flair. And as the blood was pouring, Randy hit a beautiful RKO to win the match. And by the end, they both extended their hands and hugged. This match was great at telling a full circle story, and I would recommend watching these highlights. It is a banger. These all were fantastic moments by WWE, and they all happened on Taboo Tuesday. This is why I feel this would work today. Imagine the power of the internet combined with today's WWE. There have been events like this, but not if I had a pay-per-view or PLE. I remember going to my first WWE event in 2014, and they asked on WWE.com for a dance stipulation. It has worked, but what if this happened at a higher level? Like, who should challenge the Intercontinental or World title? What stipulation should be in place of that match? Things that would change the show. I feel like if there were things that significantly changed the show, fans would be intrigued to vote, and it would actually be a really fun dynamic. This was an incredibly fun video to make. I do believe that WWE should bring Taboo Tuesday back. I love you guys. Keep supporting the channel, guys. Like, subscribe, and then my channel popping. Peace out.